Amy, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Over. I ask that everybody stand and join us with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome to the regular board meeting for the Oceana County Board of Commissioners for May 9th, 2024. And I'd like to call to order the meeting and ask the clerk to do a roll call, please.
Open up.
They don't come up on YouTube either.
Should be. Come on, open. There we go. Mr. Erickson,
Here.
Mr. Morse,
Here.
Mr. Beggs,
Here.
Mr. Hardy,
Here.
Mr. Walker.
Here. Thank you. I ask for approval of the minutes from the April 25th, 2024 meeting, please.
I'll make that motion. Go ahead. I'll make that motion. Support.
Moved by Mr. Hardy, support by Mr. Beggs. Any questions or comments on them as presented? All in favor, say approval, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Conflict of interest disclosure regarding the agenda items. Do any board members want to declare a conflict of interest? Hearing none, are there any changes to the agenda? Do we have a change for the agenda? No. No changes to the agenda. Motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
I'll second that, Morse.
Mr. Erickson moved, Mr. Morris seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Public comments. Hearing none. Mr. Hardy, MERS Surplus Division.
Motion 2024 54 to adopt a defined benefit plan surplus division, adoption addendum of the building department division 11, and a defined benefit plan surplus division adoption amendment for the remaining division, and allow for the chair to sign the forms.
Do we have a support?
Support.
Moved by Mr. Hardy, supported by Mr. Erickson. Any discussion?
Should we?
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mr. Erickson,
Yes.
Mr. Beggs,
Yes.
Mr. Morse,
Yes.
Mr. Walker.
Yes. Mr. Beggs, MERS Supplement Pension Payment.
I'd like to make motion 2024 55, 2024-55 to submit a supplemental payment in the amount of $200,000 towards the general fund and sheriff's defined benefit divisions of MERS to be paid from the general fund, and a payment in the amount of $100,000 toward the building department defined benefit division to be paid from the building department fund to be applied to surplus divisions. I'll second that, Morse.
Moved by Mr. Beggs, second by Mr. Morris. Any discussion?
I think it's great. I really do. I think upping the amount is timely and looking forward.
It kind of slipped past us last year, you know, and I'm glad it was brought forward this year, and I'm glad it's happening. So, any other comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Beggs,
Yes.
Mr. Morse,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mr. Erickson,
Yes.
Mr. Walker.
Yes. Mr. Erickson, certification of county allocated tax levy.
Mr. Walker, I move to adopt motion 2023-56 to approve the certification of the levy of county allocated tax and authorize collection of county allocated tax on July 1, 2024 at the full amount allocated after the application of the Headley millage reduction fraction, or 5.6084 mils, and authorize the county clerk and the county board of commissioners to sign the 2024 L-4029 tax rate requests and for the clerk to send a copy of the form to the townships and the city within Oceana County and provide a copy to the county treasurer.
Do we have a support?
I'll support.
Moved by Mr. Erickson, support by Mr. Beggs. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Erickson,
Yes.
Mr. Beggs,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mr. Morse,
Yes.
Mr. Walker.
Yes. Mr. Morris, adoption of resolution 24-10 establishing the DPA.
Chairman Walker, I make a motion 2024-57 to adopt resolution 2410, establishing West Michigan Shoreline Regional Development Commission as the designated planning agency and participation in a multi-county MMP with other counties under contract with Windsor Day.
Do we have a support?
I'll support.
Moved by Mr. Morris, support by Mr. Beggs. Any discussion?
I do.
Yes.
I wasn't at last meeting, but I did notice that we passed something similar to this last meeting. What?
We
Why?
did. And my apologies for not putting this on the committee for discussion. We did pass a motion request or for Windsor Dick to be the DPA. However, when I spoke with her, she asked if we could present this resolution.
Okay. That's what I thought the difference was.
And it's doing the same thing that the motion did. However, she wanted it in resolution form.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
And her meaning Aaron Kuhn
Yeah.
from
Figured it's-
Windsor
Windsor
Day.
Dick.
And for the record, who are, or what are all of the counties that we are going together to do this with?
Mason, Nuevo, Lake, Muskegon. Those are our surrounding, correct?
Yep.
Yes, those are the four.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Morse,
Yes.
Mr. Beggs,
Yes.
Mr. Erickson,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mr. Walker.
Yes. Mr. Hardy, payment of claims.
Motion for board approval of accounts payable and release of funds for 5/9 of 2024. Ambulance fund total $263,825.43. Gunwater Hart Trail $2,194.06. Indigent Defense Fund $12,595.78. Canine Fund $24.97. Criminal Justice Training Fund $1,162.70. Department of Veterans Affairs $6,152.25. Technology and Innovation Fund total $3,327.32. Capital Projects Replacement Fund $305. Building Department Fund $16,761.48. General Fund total of $359,372.80, for a grand total of $665,721.79.
Do we have a support?
I'll support Morse.
Moved by Mr. Hardy, support by Mr. Morris. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mr. Morse,
Yes.
Mr. Erickson,
Yes.
Mr. Beggs,
Yes.
Mr. Walker.
Yes. Reports from the commissioners or department heads. Mr. Beggs.
I don't think I have anything to add today.
Mr. Hardy.
Nothing to add today.
Mr. Morris.
Just one thing, just wanna, I think it was a great night on Monday night at the West Central Alliance, County Alliance meeting. I think the staff, Tracy and your staff did a wonderful job putting that on. You shed a good light for our county, so thank you for that, and your staff. Good food, Curtis did a good job, sharing what's going on here. Yeah, I think it was a nice night.
Mr. Erickson.
Mr. Walker, been in correspondence with Mr. Tiffany on the Crystal Valley Dam, and the engineering report is in. It's been shared with Hardman Construction in Ludington. Mr. Tiffany's been working with Hardman for a solution to stabilize the dam. Next week, Tuesday, I'll meet with Mr. Tiffany again. We're going to drill a few more holes in and do a little bit more probing so we can get an accurate assessment underneath the spillway. It's all very doable. Hardman does this stuff quite a bit. It would be a polymer grout injection system that's being discussed, and along with that, I received a letter from Gary McKean and the dam safety unit. Now there may be monies available for stabilization of non-hydroelectric dams. So there's very good potential right now that we'll be exploring that. And along with that, if anyone's aware, Marshville, the bridge has been tore out and they've driven some sheet steel. They're down there under full swing on the Marshville Dam situation. That's moving forward very well. It was reported at our parks meeting. And also my commitment to our park system. Fortunately for us, my wife has agreed to take over the host camper position at Black Lake. So she'll be a summer resident at Black Lake. And we'll see if we can move that forward with the camping and the seasonals that we have at Black Lake. The last thing I need to report, and Miss Anderson and I were just discussing it, and you should all probably be aware of a letter that had gone out with the Oceana County Republicans, and that they were exploring ways to dissolve this party in Oceana County. Brian Broderick, the chair, has made it known that he'd like to resign at the next meeting, next Tuesday night. And Erin McGregor, she has already submitted her resignation to leave. And Bev Schultz, the secretary, she spoke of waiting until the Christina Caramo trial is over so that she can make a more informed decision there. But as we all know, Board of Canvassers and the county clerk do need to have a Republican representative from that party. There's been a bit of scrambling going on right now to see who may take that party over, and we'll find out a little more about that on Tuesday.
Okay. Hopefully if that are officers seated, then an appointment to the Board of Canvassers will be officially made.
I believe, and Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, but Erin is already has that.
But if
Now,
what if she resigns from the party?
That I guess Amy would have to
Yeah,
tell
I
us.
I have to look into that.
Was she resigning from the party or just as
Resigning
officer,
Officer,
officer, whatever she is?
treasurer.
So that doesn't,
Oh,
that
then
doesn't
she's
remove
okay.
her from the
Then
Yeah.
Board
But
of Canvassers.
well, she doesn't even want to come to any meetings anymore. There's a real big. It's
Well,
unbelievable.
Paul, if you're going, would you just make sure that they are aware, of
Yeah.
the importance of this for the county and for the clerk?
Yeah, I've done quite a bit of research in this. I've sought legal opinion, and I've got a couple of very good legal opinions on the future of this party. So I will be
But they need to let
expressing-
me know what's going
I'll
on.
be expressing that on next Tuesday night in front of the room.
Okay. Paul, if I can follow up on your comment about the non-hydroelectric dams. I read the article on MLive. It was just on last week. You could certainly find it. And they list all 22 dams in the state of Michigan that were giving funding for repairs and stabilization. I wish I had read it before the Alliance meeting, because I certainly would have asked Mr. Bumstead and Mr. Vanderwall about it at that time. But if there's anything, I'm sure you and Jim are going to keep right on. But if you're curious about it, it was on MLive last week.
And I've got Kurt on speed dial with that one, and I've already spoken with Mr. Bumstead about the dam previously. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Today I gave each of you a drawing and some information on the transfer station. I apologize that my printer ran out of colored ink this morning, so Tracy has one that's and I believe Craig does too, that's colored if you wanna see a little bit better clarity. That proposed location that is in there was done with the person from, West Michigan Scale and Joel McCormick when they met out there. And Joel gave us a budget, understanding that these things have to go up for bids, and even though, American Classic got prices from two different, suppliers, if we move forward with this, we will have to get prices on it ourselves, but we have a lot more information on what to do now. If we are going to move forward with this, and that's all I'm asking a concurrence on now, I think this information needs to go to American Classic to see what their thoughts are on it, with the location and everything. And from there, come down with a more specific site plan. So we have a way to release requests for proposals. And if that happens, Phil, if you wanna go to Ferry Township with me, I'd like to go out and explain to them what we're doing. And I'll let you know when we can do that. But do I have a concurrence that we should move forward?
Yes.
Yes.
Move forward on what we're doing now?
No, thank you for putting this together and the research you've done on a concrete bed versus a steel deck, and
Well,
there's,
Joe, there's a difference in the pricing on there between them, but there's some things that one had, some things the other one didn't have, and if you look through both of them, you can cipher them out. The big difference between the two scales is, I wrote on the face of them, one is 12 to 14 week delivery, and the other one's 32 to 36 week delivery. So, you know, and I'm sure with what's going on in the market, the second one was only for a 14-day quote on price anyway, so we're gonna have to. So, yes, Tim?
One thing I just noticed between the, two quotes, it looks like one includes a scale office and one does not.
That is correct.
Okay.
And Joel said usually you get one of the mast buildings or one of those buildings like that they put them in.
Yeah.
Because you have to have something,
Right.
you know, for the computers and so, and there'll be some extra cost on running power and doing different things out there with it. And one includes a concrete deck and one includes a steel deck too.
Oh.
So, you know, there's all things that, it's nice to go in with them, but all things that we can work out before the final release of information. So, Paul?
no, and thank you, Robert, but I must say that I did receive a call from Jess Beckman and was very concerned about the amount of oil that's on the ground in jugs at the transfer station.
Yeah, and Paul reached out to me about that, and I had gotten a hold of, Brian, and he was going to,
Check it out.
yeah, he was gonna get that taken care of.
Okay. I'll move forward with this and I should be able to give you information. I'm gonna have Tracy get a hold of American Classic and send them this information, the contact, and we'll move forward with that. There are several things that Brian is working on for the county, and I just wanna mention them to you so that they're actively in progress. I mentioned the building department, how he's doing the drawings for that and is gonna get it out to contractors. The electrical service coming into the building, Brian has what he considers a very good quote to redo that service panel down in the mechanical room, which is the original service panel into the building. And that's a 3-phase 440 service coming in here. So we can't put the new chiller in until we have a new service. It won't handle it. Down at the bottom of the stairs.
3-phase 440, huh?
I believe so. And after that's done, the chiller, we're gonna get back to the people that are gonna do the chiller because we're on borrowed time. But more importantly, Brian is just about ready. Each one of these things he's gonna bring back to us. but Brian is very close to bringing a proposal, to the for the sheriff's department generator back to us. He's been working very actively on it. I don't think Brian lets much grass grow underneath his feet when he has things to do. You know, I think he gets right after it. That being said, I see we have Judge Meadowbrook with us.
Hello, everybody.
Good morning, afternoon.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Yeah, I don't have anything on your agenda. I was actually coming up to maybe catch Paul and Phil, but I'd be happy to tell you I have some ideas, or something that I would like you all to consider. It's not official yet, but I have 3 needs in district court right now. The first need that I want to bring to your attention is Adriana is our administrator. She's also our magistrate. She's paid for 35 hours a week. I think we need to have somebody there 40 hours a week to actually supervise everybody. If she's gone there for half a day once a week, I think that brings a lapse in the supervisory situation. Just one of the things to point out. The second thing is that in Mason County, I have 5.5 employees covering court, one of them being a court reporter. I think we have a need for a full-time or at least a part-time court reporter in Mason County. What we do right now is I'm pulling staff away from their duties to record in court, that's causing them not to be able, less staff able to handle the other functions going on in court. Not in court, but other functions, their other duties. Actually, I pulled the traffic clerk off to do criminal days. I pulled the civil clerk, et cetera, and also Adriana needs them to record for her duties too. So there is a need for at least a part-time position as a court reporter. So that's something that I would like to have you consider approving. Then the final thing is, and this is something that is a long-term goal by myself, but I would like to start a sobriety court both here in Oceana County and in Mason County. What the sobriety court would do is it would address people with alcohol addictions, people that are charged with OWI second offenses, or even third offenses that get reduced down to second offenses. I've talked to the Sheriff Mast. He supports it. I talked to Joe Bison. He told me he's in support of it, as long as it doesn't entail dismissal of charges and that sort of thing, which it would not. The process, what I'm doing to get this court running is I'm going to be applying for a grant. And West Michigan CMH, I've talked to Josh Schneider there, he's in head, and they will, they have money to pay somebody to write the grant, which is great because I'm on the bench 5 days a week and I don't have a lot of time to do the right grant, and they'll have a professional grant writers who will model this off of the court they have up in Manistee. I've gone up there, I've watched Judge Henry in the court, and I think it would be really beneficial. I mean, not a week goes by where I don't see a defendant in my court that I think could benefit from something like this. It would be a very intensive court. It would be a much more intensive probation than people face under normally probation circumstances. The thing that you would probably, the first question would be, that would jump to your mind is, why would somebody want to do this? They're going to have a more restrictive probation. They'll be drug tested, monitored. They'll have sanctions imposed against them for failure to do it. Well, number one, some people just want treatment. But number two, with a sobriety court, the carrot, so to speak, to get people to sign up for the court is I will have the authority after a certain time period to grant a restricted driving privilege. This would be, you could operate a motor vehicle. You would have to have installed interlock system where you'd have to blow into it, prove that you're not having alcohol in your system to be able to drive it. So that would be the motivation for these people, because they often are facing suspension of their license for years and years and years without reinstatement, and they keep cycling back because they keep getting pulled over when they drive to work, et cetera, and it's kind of a never-ending cycle for them. So it's probably going to take me, I don't know how fast it'll work, but we're already mid-May. If I can get the grant written by June, I maybe it could be underway beginning of next year. I don't foresee if we get all the grant funding like they did in Manistee that it's actually going to require any additional staffing to our office, but it would be an extra strain on our office. So that is why the increase of the administrative hours for our administrator, Ms. Facundo, would be important, and also the court reporter, because there would be additional duties with that reporting. So that would kind of all overlap also there. Just to tell you, in Mason County, unfortunately, I do not have a probation officer, which I am so happy that I have one here. I really appreciate that we have a probation officer that the county has funded for me here. So that probation officer, Mr. Wiltfang, will be able to monitor Oceana, but I'm going to probably have to go to the Board of Commissioners up in Mason County and talk to them about that. So the good news is, at least with the third thing I've said, the sobriety court, hopefully it won't cost anything for Oceana County, but that would depend on the grant. Depending on the grant amount, I may come back and ask you guys for some money, but I don't know. I'm just telling you what I would like to do. I think it would be very beneficial for the citizens, and I think it would something that would greatly help people if we could get, even a few people unaddicted to alcohol. And actually, the sobriety court would handle drugs too, but they would be have to be either a misdemeanor situation. I think with the grant funding, it has to be related to drinking and driving or drug-induced, impairment while driving. So that the people that we can help in the sobriety court is probably dependent on the grant and the funding. But I would try to help people that are addicted to drugs, just the same as alcohol. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know what I was thinking of. I'd love to, if any of you have any time to discuss it afterwards, I'd love to talk to you about it.
Why don't you, when you have the opportunity to sit down with Phil and sit down with Paul, and they can look at, the concept, as well as work with the county administrator to look at a cost, for everything.
Okay.
We just a couple hours ago, we talked about the millage and raising millage and dropping millages down and doing all of those things, and the caution was that, as soon as we drop millage, somebody's gonna come in and ask for something new.
And here I come, and I didn't even know.
But we drop millage, so you're out of luck.
Yeah, well, I know, it's a difficult thing, I try to be very you know, conservative with, resources, but, day in and day out, I notice the, you know, the workload and the stress level with my staff. I think the fact that, that we don't have, an administrator there for 40 hours a week causes stress with the staff because they're in training oftentimes. Adriana knows everything that goes on, but then they have questions and that sort of thing. And I think by funding her position, and I think an administrator needs to be there full-time. You know, I know she's full-time at 35 hours, but 40 hours to monitor and make sure things are going along. As for the recorder, I think this would alleviate a lot of stress with the office staff because they're constantly having to scramble to fulfill their duties and also do the court reporting. And I think it would also bring us more in line with what we have in Mason County. Frankly, I got a full-time dedicated court reporter in Mason County, and you know, there's a need to have one here. And then, but the sobriety court is really kind of a passion thing. I really want to try to help some people if I can. Anyway.
It's interesting, Judge, that I had a conversation earlier in the week with Judge Lamberts about some circuit court needs and some circuit court things that he wanted to talk about. And I made the comment to Judge Lamberts that we are in the same circuit court as Mason County, and we're in the same district court as Mason County. And I'm surprised that there aren't some specialty items that can't be shared between the two counties and share the expense between the two counties.
Well, that's what I would like to do. Is this specialty court is going to be now Manistee only does one county, but I want to do both counties, and I'm actually set up better here, even though I have less staffing. But I'm set up better here for the specialty court because I have a probation officer. That is key. For example, what I do in Mason County is, since I don't have a probation officer and I don't want to overdo my staff, I actually on Fridays from like noon to 1 or it goes to 1:30, I act as my own probation officer. I have all these people come in and they have to turn in their things. I have an officer there. We PBT them. I don't have any funding for drug tests, but this would be the great thing with that sobriety court. All the drug tests and everything, those $30 a pop tests are funded through the grant funding. And so I could have people, we could drug test them, twice a week. We can, they give funding actually for them to have a SCRAM monitor. Actually, it's called a SoberLink, where they have to blow in at random times 5 times a day to prove their sobriety for 90 days. They're on that for 90 days, and then we do the drug testing. It's very intensive, but knock on wood, if there's any wood around anymore, it hopefully will help some people. Anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Phil, Paul, I'd love to meet with you whenever you're available. I don't know what works with your schedule, but let me know, and I'm happy to do it.
Your Honor, come back often.
All right.
And it's always a pleasure to see you, and maybe one time you'll come back and tell us, I've got too much money, I can't.
Okay,
Thank you, Your
I
Honor.
know.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I try to be judicious. As a judge, it's always a good trait, judicious with resources, but I just want to let you know. Have a great day.
Thank you.
You doubled our crowd.
Okay. All right. We'll see you guys later.
Do we have anything else to come before the board?
If I may, I received an email from Kalamazoo County, and they are, it says that, as you know, Kalamazoo County has sustained an E42 tornado in the city of Portage and Pavilion Township this week. Administrator Kevin Catlin reports we have a small cadre of building inspectors, but may need more resources to ensure the proper inspection and safety of the various structures. Any assistance is greatly appreciated.
Again, we will have to see how we can work it out, because our building inspectors are contract employees that are paid on a percentage of the permits. So if we, send anybody down there, it'll be our responsibility to pay their lodging and pay the whole fee, you know. So, you know, I'm not saying that we shouldn't do that, but a lot of the building inspectors are employees and not contract employees. So, but keep in touch with them, and let's see what it works out. Has emergency management provided any assistance or been asked to?
Not that I'm aware of. He's at a conference right now, so.
Because it's a little distance, but that was the type of situation that emergency management trailer was made for. If there was a need.
You know, I'm sure Region 6 would be making calls if there was.
Well, you sit with that, so, yeah. I
That was-
believe we can stand adjourned. Thank you, my fellow board members and the clerk and the administrator.
That was quite a storm though. Man, knocking that FedEx